And I tell all of y'all this too. As you grow in social media, you have to, anything in business, you have to sacrifice. Some things are going to be sacrificed. Sometimes it might be your family that can sacrifice. Sometimes it might be time with your kids that's going to get sacrificed. Sometimes it's going to be one business that will get neglected over another business, right? And no one teaches you how to deal with this. There's like no manuscript to learn how to deal with success, making money, popularity, traveling like crazy, building $1 billion brand. Couple of them, right? Like, it's not easy, yo. Like, it's fucking hard. And some days I'd be like, what the hell am I doing? Like, but you got to just kind of get grounded with God, number one. You got to pray a lot, and you got to kind of like figure out, like, all right, I got to do this because this is what I prayed for at the end of the day. So I can't complain. I got to do it, like, by any means necessary.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the More Than a Side Hustle podcast. My name is Anthony.
And I'm Janoka.
We help 9-to-5ers create more impact, income, and influence outside their jobs. And today is no different. We got a very special guest, Matt Garland MG, the mortgage guy, MLS number
58700.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that.
We're going to get into everything. But before we get into that, I'm going to let Janoka take it over.
Well, I just wanted to start with the beef that I have with him. I heard him say before that he's from Brooklyn and Queens, but he claims Queens. And I'm like, who picks Queens over Brooklyn? And how does that work? How are you from both?
Yo, how are we starting this off?
Yo, I know where he's going there, but
power with violence. First of all right, so good question to open this thing up. All right, so I was born in Brooklyn.
Okay.
My family, and you guys are from Brooklyn, so you probably gonna understand exactly what I'm saying. I'm 45 years old, born in the 70s, 78. So my family is drug dealers and drug users. My mother's a crackhead, uncle was crackhead. Like, I don't have a relationship with my mother to this day.
Okay.
Right? So Brooklyn represents pain for me. So when I was a youngin', I was exposed to so much at 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. So my father, he moved to Queens probably somewhere around that time. Him and my mom got divorced. And I was back and forth from Brooklyn to Queens, but primarily in Brooklyn under my mother's care, which the court system is such a joke because you got a lady who's a bona fide crackhead and you keep giving her custody, right? So for me, Brooklyn represents a lot of pain for my childhood. So when I moved to Queens, that was like the first time I really felt like a child. I felt like, all right, I'm a kid, not an adult. And but I'm a kid though, you know what I'm saying? So I represent Queens because that's just like where I grew up at. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that was positive.
That was the positive. Like, when I moved from Brooklyn to Queens, it turned into more positive in my life because, like, I got friends that I grew up that are in jail to this day. A lot of my friends that I grew up are dead from Brooklyn. So it's a lot of pain.
Got it.
When I think of my childhood in Brooklyn. And I went to junior high school in Queens. I graduated from high school in Queens.
Okay, so your growing years.
So like my preteen, teenage years was Queens. So, I hate when people be like, yo, I'm from New York, but I live in Georgia now. Like, when did you move to Georgia? When I was 3. Nah, you ain't from New York.
We're not letting you claim
you ain't from New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, where did you go to junior high and high school at?
Right.
To me, that's where you're from.
Okay.
Right? So for me, Queens is where I'm from, and that's what I represent. I'm more of a Queens dude than I'm Brooklyn dude, but I got so much Brooklyn in me.
In you, okay.
It's in my blood. It's in my blood, and people don't want to see that side of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want to see that side of y'all too. Y'all from Canarsie. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's a whole different type of conversation. But it was a lot of pain growing up, and it was very challenging. But it's made me who I am today.
Got it.
From the high school experience at that point, you are like, all right, my life has changed at this point because I come from a very similar background where we have this conversation all the time where, drugs, and my family lost their brownstone in Bed-Stuy due to drugs.
Mine too.
They was dealing and they came and locked up the doors, and that was it. Last time we saw that brownstone.
Wow.
So at that point, we moved out of Bed-Stuy, moved to Canarsie, and that's when my life changed. I got around right environments. But when you got around those right environments, what started to change for you at that point? Because you're like, all right, Brooklyn's behind me. Now I'm at this new environment. What changed from there?
Well, I think exposure is key with anything in life, right? Especially when you're young. As we know, growing up in Brooklyn, it's projects, it's brownstones, crack vials everywhere. Especially in the 80s, it was a different time frame. So moving to Queens, this was the first time I actually seen houses and people have backyards.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, just that alone was like, wait a minute.
It's a game changer.
Like, no, y'all think y'all hood now. Y'all not hood. I know hood. Yeah. Like, this ain't the hood. You got a house. You got a backyard, but let's not get it twisted. Queens, don't let that fool you too. I had to learn that too as I'm growing up. But that exposure of just seeing, more middle class families, black families at that in Queens versus in Brooklyn. You had middle class families and everything like that, but it's just my environment was just drugs and destruction. So going out there and just seeing that different lifestyle, and just seeing how people lived and people having barbecues, and it was safe. Yeah. Right. It felt more safe. So it was just that exposure to me early on that I just said, okay, this is the life I want to live. And then obviously Queens being so close to Long Island, you now start meet people on the island that's more of the suburbs. Now you start really going into like, wait a minute, these people live a lot
way
different
life than we do.
You thought you saw a house?
Yeah, now you thought you saw a house. Now you seeing a house, and it's like, wait a minute, how much your house costs? Like, yo, you're rich. And it's like,
nah, real backyard.
They're not rich, but they just upper middle class, right? So now you start seeing the differences of like the levels of life of where you can go. And in Brooklyn, I really didn't see that. My idols were drug dealers and ball players and musicians. That's all I saw when I was growing up. I wanted to have the big dope chains and, rocking the MCMs and all that other good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's all I wanted to do is when I wanted to hustle. But when I moved to Queens, it was like, it exposed me to a whole different life. And it saved my life, quite frankly.
And it's funny you mentioned houses, because I think back about that all the time. Like I had one aunt that had a house, and to me, going there was like, okay,
it's like the thing.
We're living because we're visiting, and the whole family's there, and that became the house, the place you went because it was a house. So that
absolutely
was a big impact. Did that journey help you? Did you end up going to college there, or is that what helped you to do real estate? Or?
Nah, so my journey is crazy. So like you guys, my family lost a brownstone too. And when my grandmother died, God bless the dead, when she passed away, my family didn't know nothing about real estate. So they wound up selling the house too prematurely for pennies on a dollar because again, most of the people that had the control were on drugs under the influence, and they just wanted the quick money. But I did go to college. When I moved to Queens, again, exposure and everything like that, I never thought about going to college. And I met a girl who actually went to North Carolina Central University, and me chasing my girl at that time going to visit. And once I went to North Carolina the first time to visit her, I said, wait a minute, what the hell is this? Like, because I'm a straight New Yorker. Like, I never really wanted to travel in my life. It was like New York or nothing. Like, nothing else exists.
You got out the country at 25. I'm like, what?
I literally, real talk, I really just now started traveling within the last 10 years. And I, even now, probably in the past 5 years is when I really started traveling, because everything that we're doing, I was scared to death of airplanes. Like, if I can't drive there, I'm not going. Like, I never really wanted to go to the Caribbean. Like, I was never one of those people that wanted to travel. Nah, I really ain't give a fuck. Like, I'm from New York.
We got everything.
I got everything I need right here. Why I need to go outside of the boroughs? Like, but when I first went to North Carolina in '96, this was, and I said, wait a minute, this is crazy. like it's 24-1 out here. Like what's going on? Like wait a minute. Like wait a minute. Hold on.
Way different.
Like wait a minute.
You still chasing the same girl at this time? Or?
Yeah, I was, but I still was like, wait a minute. Hold on. What's going on out here? Right? Like this was just like it was like pandemonium to me because you start hearing different music. We grew up on Jay-Z, Nas, and everything, Mobb Deep, and everything like that. You start hearing like last night I think you start hearing all this shit. You're like, what? But they rocking. It's like, wait a minute, they having a good time. And then you start seeing like college football, especially black colleges, Aggie Eagle Pride, Aggie Eagle Classic, and all that stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a different.
I need to be here.
Nah, this is different. I need to experience this whole black college thing. So me and my best friend, I took him down from homecoming, '96. I said, yo, bro, you gotta come with me. Yo, they got this thing called homecoming.
Oh, it's lit.
I heard it's gonna be lit. Yo, like we gotta go. And we went down there. Forget about it. Game over.
You enrolled that next week?
Y'all moved in?
No, literally. We applied. We got back. We was going to LaGuardia Community College at the time. Okay. We graduated from Andrew Jackson. So then we went to LaGuardia Community College. And when we went to came back, we was like, nah, we walking across the bridge. It was cold. I'll never forget this. We walking across this bridge. It's cold outside. This is November. I'm like, fuck this shit. Why are we here, yo? Like, yo, you want to apply for there? Yo, we applied. Got a grace of God, we got accepted. That January '97, we was out. Like, and we went to North Carolina, and I dropped out like after my first year because student loans and everything like that. But I wound up staying down there for like 5.5 years. Oh wow! And he graduated, got his law degree and everything like that. And
so you changed his life?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah,
But he
law
changed.
degree,
But he changed my life too, and we'll probably go
Okay.
into that story of how I got into real estate. Is because of him, right? But the Carolinas just kind of like opened us up to a whole different way of life. Opened us up to the South. We hitting up Freaknik, Daytona. Like we lived.
You was lit.
Oh yeah.
For the word lit was lit.
No, that's a fact.
What'd you go to college for? Like, what was your major minor? What was you going there for?
I went
Outside
for-
of the parties?
Business marketing.
Okay.
Right, but I wasn't really paying attention to class.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna hold you up. School never really interested me like that. I just went to school just because it was the thing to do, right? And I had nothing else to do. Me, I'm a hustler. Like I grew up, it's in my blood. So for me, we out there doing things that we shouldn't have been doing, which I'm not gonna speak about on this show. But we was out there doing what we got to do to survive, and it was. I got the School of Hard Knocks. I didn't get a college education, but I got a School of Hard Knocks education when I was out there in North Carolina, and it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me in life because it taught me how to fend for myself.
You probably learned more about business marketing today than you would have doing that 4 years.
Oh, 100%. Right now, what we're doing right now, this is like it's like a crash course.
We gonna get into that.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a crash course, but like the South really gave me like that confidence, that swag, that like, yo, I can. It's a world outside of New York. But I wound up coming back to New York to find New York money to go back to the South. Like so, my whole goal right after 9/11 happened, God bless the dead. I came back. I started working for TSA. And I said, yo, I'm going to get a New York job with New York money. I'm going to bring that back to the South, and I'm going to live like a king. But I never went back.
Never went back.
Nah, I never went back, especially because right after 9/11, I worked for TSA for like a year. I got fired because of budget cuts. And then my best friend, Phil, shout out to you, bro. He hit me up one day. He's like, yo, you should get into the mortgage business. I'm like, the mortgage business? What the hell?
That's random.
I said, what's the mortgage
And Phil was the
business?
guy with the law degree?
Yeah, that's my best friend. My best friend, Phil, he's actually a pastor now. Which is dope in Atlanta. Shout out to 2819 Church. And he hit me up one day. He's like, yo, you should go get be a loan officer, do mortgages. I said, what's a loan officer? What's a mortgage? He said, you know, when people buy a house, they need a loan. It's called the mortgage. I said,
So was he doing it?
nah, he wasn't doing it. So one of our good friends, shout out to my bro Ant, he's still in the business to this day. He was doing it.
Okay.
So he was like, yo, little Ant doing it. He been doing it for 2 years. He making 6 figures. So I'm like, what? If little Ant is doing this, I know I can do
This sounds
it.
like some MLM, yo.
Yo,
First thing I'm thinking about is MLM at that point.
Yo.
How you making so much money?
that's in my head. I'm like, yo, what do you mean? I said, yo, because Ant had the cars and everything like that fresh. I'm like, what? I said, that's what he do? He does mortgages? He's like, yeah, he's a loan officer, bro. I said, he a cop? I'm like, yeah, cop. He's an officer. Yeah. I said, I ain't no cop. Nigga, what you talking about?
No snitch.
He's like, no, bro, that's the title. That's what they do. I said, but Ant got a degree. I ain't got no degree. He was like, nah, I don't think you need one. So I looked in the Daily News. I'll never forget this. I'm sitting on my pod's couch looking at the Daily News. And at this time, I was doing a lot of customer service jobs. I was working for TSA. But my background was always sales. I sold cars. I worked at Circuit City at one time.
Circuit City. That's a throwback.
Oh my God.
Oh, my God.
Only a New Yorker would know that. That's a
Circuit
throwback.
City was real, like in many ways. But like I always did some sort of sales type of job, customer service, right? And I said, all right. So I'm looking for these loan officer jobs, and lo and behold, they were right underneath all the customer service jobs in the paper on the same page. And I never looked down. I always kept to the telemarketing, sales, those type of positions. So they didn't require a degree. So I said, oh. So I just started sending my resume in, boom, 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 and I got 3 interviews, went on 3 job interviews, and I just picked the best company that I thought was best for me at the time. They offered training. They paid like $8 an hour for the training for like 6 weeks. I didn't know nothing about a mortgage. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. I went into that, and I never looked back.
So can I ask why you didn't hit up Little Ant directly? Because I think I would have done that.
You know
Get
what?
some information.
Because my best friend, his word is his bond. So that's all I
Okay.
needed to hear. Once he said,
Okay.
yo, this is what it is, it's like, I bet.
I'm done. I'm doing it. I
Say
trust you.
say less, bro. Like, say less. I don't need to talk to Ant. Like, you talk to Ant already?
All right, we
When
got
you
it.
got the inside scoop, I bet.
We
G.
good at that
Like, you know what? I need this because I'm sitting here. I just lost my TSA job. I just got with my children's mother at the time. And I'm like, yo, you know, she's a baddie. I'm like, yo, I can't be broke, yo. Like, I got to figure out something. And I was like, yo, I'm going to just go for it. Like, I don't know what this job is. And I just rolled the dice. And then I went to the classes. It was like 6 weeks. I was making like $8 an hour. That was a lot of money back in 2002, 2003, whenever this was. And it changed my life. Like I went through this class and I passed the class, and then I went on the sales floor, and it was just, I never looked back. Nah.
Did you hit that 6 figures early on?
2 years it took.
2 years.
It took me
Go
2
from $9
years.
an hour.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna front. I'll keep it real. In the first 2 years, I probably worked for like 5 different companies.
Okay.
So before I even started selling, so that first job, I went on the floor. They gave me like a 25% commission. The first week, I'm starting to speak to the salespeople, and I'm
That's
seeing
every mortgage you close normally?
yeah,
Okay.
like as far as the commission that I would get will be 25%. So of the revenue. So I'm speaking to the salespeople, this, that, and the third, and I'm like, yo, how much commission you make? They're like, oh, I make 70%. I make 60%. I make this, and I'm like, yo, why am I making 25? I'm like, yo, nah, this don't seem right. So I'm like, yo, look, boy, these dudes over here making 75, 25. They like, yo, they closing deals. You ain't closed nothing. You just came out of training. I'm like, so what? Like, if I close a deal, I want to make some money. They didn't want to pay me. So I found another company, and I negotiated them and got 45%. I said, okay, that's a step up. Was there, learned some things real quick, couple months. Found another company. Oh, you want to give me 60%? So I was just happy for percentages. It wasn't even making no money yet.
Is that because you were in sales? Because I feel like back when people, you just stayed at that job. You weren't jumping around, but
fuck
you had the courage.
I know my worth, man. I know my
early.
worth. I knew my worth early. It's like, yo, nah.
But you didn't close nothing yet.
So what? I'm a closer. Like, so
I'ma do it eventually.
I'm gonna do it eventually, and when I do it,
I want 70.
I need to get some money because yo, I got to get some money, man. Like I'm not trying to be out here broke.
Yeah.
Like my nickname in college was Broke Joe.
Broke Joe?
Yeah, BJ.
Okay.
Shout out to y'all, all my people. My people still call me BJ to this day, so I didn't want to be BJ. So I'm like, yo, I had a chip on my shoulder because all my boys who I went to school with, they all graduated. They were doing something with their lives, and when I got my government job, I'm like, yeah, got something, right? And then I lost it. I'm like, fuck. Like, so it was more like a competition thing for me too. Like, yo, I'm secretly competing with my boys.
You was on competition by yourself.
100%, but I was competing with my boys too because they all doing well. They got good jobs. They moving, and I'm like, yo, I don't want to be BJ. Like, nah, I can't. Like, I can't. Like, I need to get some money. And if I close some of these deals and I'm seeing what these cats are making, then I need to be making that too because they're not better than me. Yeah. That was just my attitude. I was young and I was hungry, and I was a little dumb too, but I bet on myself. And it worked out. I finally got with a company that paid me what I thought was fair. And I just said, you know, I got to settle down. I got to really get this. And I was just smiling and dialing. I was on the phone every day. Like every single day I was on the phone, 200-300 calls every single day, pounding the phone, smiling and dialing, talking to people, getting hung up on, cursed out. Like this is really before the internet was really the internet. You know what I'm saying? So the technology that we had then 20 years ago, it wasn't the same as it is now. So it was a struggle, but I started getting my groove. Next thing I know, year 2, finally pop off, make over 100K. I'm like, yeah.
This is it. I got it.
Oh, shit.
He's like, I got it.
I got it.
20 years ago, yeah.
You got to think about 100K in 04.
Yeah.
It's like 300 right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm young. Like, I'm, 25, 26 years old? So now you got to think of my first half of my life. Come from drug dealers and drug users, back and forth, seeing all types of foolishness in my life, living, like my father worked for transit. He had a great job and everything like that, but we wasn't rich by any means. He didn't really understand money management and stuff like that. So you seeing the struggle, you being broke, you being poor, you can't buy all the fly kicks. You know what I'm saying? So like now you get to 100K, it's like, I made it. Like, yeah, 6 figures, I'm here.
What was the first thing you bought at 100K?
I don't even remember, but I could tell you it was probably some drip. I'm from New York, man. You know,
I want to say,
I probably got some Jordans and some throwbacks or something like that. You know, something, you know. Jordans ain't cheap now, and you know, throwbacks is a couple $100. You know, you got to go to the club. You know, brought a couple nice little hoopty cars at first, but then my first like luxurious car was a BMW 750 when the 745s was out. So like that was like a stunt.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to stunt on them real quick.
You routed through Bed-Stuy with that?
Nah, I was all in Queens.
You stayed in Queens?
Queens and Long Island, man. Queens and Long Island.
Long Island and Queens.
Yeah, because I started the mortgage business in Long Island.
Okay.
So when I started working,
Was that strategic?
Nah, that's just what all the mortgage companies were that I saw on the paper. Remember, Daily News, certain papers will be geared towards where you lived in the boroughs. Right? So the Daily News were Queens, it was Queens and Long Island type of vibe. And if you was in Brooklyn, you probably got Brooklyn, Manhattan, type of paper and information, right? So, or Staten Island too. So like for when I was looking for the jobs, that's all I saw was Long Island based companies. So I'm around ex-Wall Streeters, people who got kicked off of Wall Street and got into the mortgage industry, because at this time you didn't need no licensing or nothing like that, right? You could just walk off the street and say, hey, I'm a loan officer, right? Because that's basically what I did, right? I didn't have to get licensed. So everything was clean. So I'm around all of these, you know, white people, Jewish people, Italian, they making millions of dollars. So that was a heavy influence on my life too. That actually changed me. It made me an egomaniac. You know, no, seriously, that shit, it kind of ruined my life a little bit, because I treated everybody like a number. Everybody was a dollar sign. I didn't give a fuck who you was. Like, they trained a wild dog how to hunt. Like, I just wanted to hunt and eat, and I didn't care who it was. It could be your mama. I'm making 4 points. Seriously, I'm making 4 points. This was the wild cowboy days. You know what I'm saying? This is before the crash. So like, you needed a post to get a loan. I'm probably part of the reasons why the market crashed. You know what I'm saying? We were just giving anybody a loan. It didn't matter. And for me, it was just like, yo, let's just get this money.
And what made you stop or change that hunger?
I lost everything. First in 2007, I would say. I think that's when my pops died. Yeah, '07 is when my father died. And that was like the beginning of everything. My father died, then my son was born December. You know, they say you lose a life, another one comes. That's real, in my opinion, because that's how it happened for me. But that was like the beginning of the subprime crash, but I wasn't paying attention to, like, I wasn't a student of the game. I was just making money. And the white people who were trying to tell me, save your money, something's coming, I didn't want to hear them.
We ain't know nothing about that back then.
Well, I didn't trust them. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. I didn't trust you. And the people that looked like me, that was the OGs, they wasn't trying to drop no game. They looked at me as competition.
Right.
So they didn't really want to tell me nothing. So for me, I was financially irresponsible. I was buying cars, buying houses. I was doing all types of shit because it was so easy. It was like money was growing on trees. And it was like, I never thought it would end, because I just got in the game. So I'm 3-4 years into this before the market really crashed, and I'm making all this money. I got all this debt now. I got employees. I got telemarketers out the wazoo. I'm doing.
So you made your own company?
Nah. So I still don't own my own company to this day.
Oh, okay. So how do you have all these people under you?
Because I was a manager. So I was a manager, and then I hired junior loan officers. I hired telemarketers and stuff like that. So I rose through the ranks very quickly because I understood my worth. And I was talking at Hustle Talk to the white boys, and the white boys would put me on like, yo, nah, you got something in you. So they're like, yo, we're going to make you a branch manager. I didn't know what the fuck that mean.
Okay.
I was like, what that mean? Oh, you can hire people? Great.
Sure.
Oh, I can make an override? Great. I can pay them whatever I want? Perfect. So I took on a lot of responsibility, a lot of debt. And when the market started turning and banks started going out of business, I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't have no reserves really. I was just flashy in suits and cars and watches and had a couple cribs, and I was living above my means. You know what I'm saying? And the market crashed, and then banks started crashing, and then I started losing houses, had to do short sales, foreclosures. I mean, it was a mess. You know, it was a mess, but my mess is my message today. And this is why I always say, yo, don't be house rich and cash poor, because I'm a living example of being house rich and cash poor. And so I thank God that all of that stuff happened to me, because I wouldn't be sitting here with you guys if none of it happened. It's my journey. Like, I love it. Like, I thank God for 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. Those were some of the worst years of my life. But now that when I look back at it, it's probably the best years of my life, because it gave me everything that I needed to be who I am today.
And I would ask you, kind of not comparing it to where we are today, but a lot of people, they are starting their journey of entrepreneurship over the pandemic, right? The pandemicpreneurs, they're getting into business. They've come across a lot of money in a short period of time. So what would be something that you could tell someone today who may be going through this quote unquote, I saw something say about a silent recession in a way.
Yeah,
so
I saw something like that.
I was like, but
a solid depression.
It's a solid depression, yeah. So what advice would you give someone today who's come across a lot of money and they're still trying to navigate that space you were in probably 20 years ago at this point?
Don't pay attention to social media.
Shit, that's hard.
It's hard, but don't pay attention, right? So I think one of the biggest mistakes that I made is that during this time, remember, I've been in the business before Instagram was even Instagram, before Facebook was a thing. YouTube was just starting out. So there was no podcast when I was in this game. So for me, all I had was the news. And if you're watching the news every day, their job is doom and gloom. right? Their job is to scare the shit out of you.
And it does.
And it really does.
I don't even put it on in my house. It's too negative.
No, I can't.
It's too negative.
I can't. I can only watch financial news to a certain extent. Because if something is bad happening, all you're going to hear all day long is the negative, negative, negative. And if you're not strong mentally, you're going to fall into that quicksand and you're going to sink. There's no way around it. And that's what happened to me. And I fell into a deep depression because of the news and because of my surroundings. And I didn't have no outlets to really bring me out or pull me out of that quicksand. So what I tell people now is like, yo, don't pay attention to the news. The recession starts in your mind first. And for me, I'm saying that for real because it started in my mind. And when I was mentally down and I was beating myself up and I'm hearing all of this, it reinforced all the negative that I was already thinking. What I try to tell people is just stay focused on your goal, right? You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have left and rights. Be laser focused on what your actual goals are. Not every year is going to be a home run.
That's a big one.
You're going to have years where you're going to fall. You're going to have years where you're going to make, especially as an entrepreneur, you're going to make 50% less than what you did the year before. You're going to make 70% than what you made the year before, less, right? But how much did you save when you was up, right? How much did you really invest to put into cash flow assets? What are you really doing with the money is the question. And if you're out here living la vida loca, like money's falling off the trees like I was 20 years ago, then you're going to find yourself in a position where you ain't going to survive. So for me, I just try to tell people, just stay the course, man. Don't overdo it. Don't live outside your means. Just because if you make a meal, if you make a ticket, like don't go spend the whole ticket on something. Don't go buy the big $10 million mansion or the $5 million mansion. You only made $1 million or $2 million. That shit could
You
go
ain't taking
like, that joint could go like that.
How much money do you need to make to afford a $2 million?
No,
$10 million.
$10 million house.
but it's crazy because it's easy, and I say this all the time. It's a difference between eligibility and affordability. Bank's job is to lend money.
Yep.
And if you look at the mortgage system in America, it's kind of stupid. They're lending off your gross income if you like a W-2. You don't take home your gross income. No. You take home a net after taxes, but we're qualifying you on the gross. So we're setting you up for failure already. Or from the very beginning, you're being set up for failure. So it has to be on you to be smart enough to know, like, I make $10,000 gross, but I come home with $6,500. I don't need a $5,000 mortgage, even though the bank would give me a loan for it.
Right.
I only have $1,500 left over.
And it's funny how they push that too, because we was looking for our first house. They're like, you guys qualify for so much more. Why don't you want to use it? He was like, we don't need it.
Well, I was trying to use it.
She was trying to use it. I'm like, it's our first house. We don't understand it. Let's get in here and learn the business first. And they push that narrative so hard. But why? I guess they're going to make money, more money.
Well, it's not even just a matter of just making more money, right? It's just the way we are trained as loan officers. Like, we have a threshold. Your max debt to income ratio is this, right? Depending on the product, let's just say 50% of your income. So, okay, if that 50% can get you $500,000, why are you looking at 300, right? Go to the $500,000 or go to the 450. You're going to get a better house. And most people, they want the better house.
Yeah.
You guys were smart not to take as much as possible. And this market is tough because home prices being as high as they are, with interest rates being high, so affordability is a big problem right now. So most people are maxing themselves out, because if they want to buy, they have no other choice because of the prices of the home. But I try to tell people all the time, like, yo, if you got proof for $500, what you should do is go spend $350 on something, and maybe use that extra $100 and do it a rehab loan, so you can now force your appreciation, and now you can make some money and have some equity versus being at the top of the market and paying retail. So it just really all depends on your strategy. Who you're talking to is very important on the bank's end. And this is why I'm so vocal on social with real estate financing, is because most people don't understand the loan officer is not your friend. They're not your friend. I'm not your friend.
But you want to help me get a house, though.
Of course I do.
I'll be nice to you. We're cordial.
No, we're cordial. I have to treat you with respect, and I'm going to educate you, and I'm going to do, but I don't know you, man. Yeah. Like, if you tell me you want to come buy this $1 million house, and I'm looking at your paperwork, and I see I can get you a loan, I'm not here to convince you otherwise, right? Majority of the loan officers are going to be like that. Now, there's a small percentage of us that would say, yo, you can't afford this, B. Yeah. You need to fall back. But the majority, no, it's a volume game. We're trying to get loans in because we got to meet our own quotas and our own things to us keep our employment. So you have to be the loan officer, in my opinion. You have to go in there with, look, this is where I'm at. I know the guidelines. I know what program I want. You have to be able to dictate and tell the loan officer, this is what I'm looking for, in my opinion. And I think the people who understand the real estate financing aspect of real estate and construction are those are the two most important things. Those are the people who are the most successful with buying real estate and buying right and not being put into the wrong programs.
God.
No, this is probably the only mortgage question I have, because he tried to do this and I was like, no. I've heard you say that if your first time house, you feel like it should be a multifamily, and unless you care about the suit system or house hack and stuff like that. And so why do you feel that way?
Because it was my biggest mistake. My first house wasn't a multifamily. My first house was in Long Island. Picket fence.
Was it a white picket fence?
Okay. White picket fence, PVC. Right? So like for me, I look at it now, okay, what could I have done differently when I purchased my first home? Instead of me just wanting to get out of quote unquote hood and move to the burbs, like most people from the hood, we just want to go to the burbs. We don't want to know. We lived in apartments all our lives. We lived in multi-families all our lives. We don't want to deal with this shit. I want to have a barbecue. I want to chill. You know what I'm saying? I want my man cave in the basement. That was the mentality. But I think now that's the American dream. And I think the American dream is flawed, right? Especially if you live in states or regions where you have multifamilies. I personally believe if you want to be a landlord and if you want to be a real estate investor, then why not use these low down payment programs where you can go live in a house, put down 3%, 5%, get a multifamily, and basically live for free or cash flow, depending on how you buy, and the rental income in the neighborhood. It's just the smartest move, because now if a recession happens, you lose your job, guess what? You got tenants now that are paying your mortgage, versus when shit hit the fan for me, my house, there was no tenants paying. It was all on me.
Still wanted that money.
It was all on me, you know? Now, tenants ain't guaranteed to pay you nothing. I learned that the hard way during the crash also, because they ain't guaranteed to pay you a penny. And in New York, the laws are in their favor.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So know your laws. Where's the camera? Know the laws you're buying multifamilies in the state or county you live in, because these tenants are professional.
Right.
They don't have to pay you nothing. So I just feel as if you are saying, hey, I want to be a landlord and I want to be a real estate investor, then why are you looking at a condo? Especially if you don't have the capital. Very important. If you have the capital, do whatever the hell you want. You could go buy a condo, still go buy investment properties, because you have the money, you have the capacity. But if you're someone who doesn't have that money, doesn't have that capacity to continue to buy after the first deal, you need to buy that deal and re-up again. Then if you're saying I want to be an investor, then why are you looking at a single family? You're contradicting yourself.
Yeah.
In all honesty, you're a walking contradiction. Do you really want to invest?
Do you want to or not?
Or do you want to just have barbecue and bar mitzvahs? And if that's the case, it's okay. The whole thing for me is black people just need to own some shit. We need to buy. Like the wealth gap is too wide, especially in real estate, for us to be sitting here talking about we're going to continue to rent. No, we need to own some shit. So I don't care if you buy a multifamily, a condo, a single family. Just buy right, buy smart, know what the hell you're doing, know what you signed yourself up for, and most importantly, we need to own something, because the home is going to be probably the biggest purchase that majority of Americans, not just black Americans, just Americans, period, are going to make in their lifetime, period. So my people, I just want you to buy something.
So we got a few people out there. Our audience is predominantly people who have jobs, 9 to 5ers. Some of them are investors. Some of them are entrepreneurs. I got a job right now. I'm making some decent money. It may not be 6 figures. It may be under 6 figures. I live in an area like New York. We're from New York. So a lot of our listeners are from New York. So you're telling me to go out and buy it, but I really can't find a property right now. I really can't. There's not really a lot of multifamilies out there. So what am I doing in a market like that, like New York?
So what I tell all my New Yorkers is, if you can't afford to buy in New York, you have Connecticut, you have Delaware. You have the whole tri-state area. You got to leave New York. Like, what are you staying in New York for? To live in a little 600 square foot apartment? Shit.
Yeah.
Like really think about it. For three bands?
To save live in New York.
With roaches? Like
roaches.
Like, what are you doing?
I haven't seen a roach in 7 years.
Because we live in Dallas.
Because you live in Dallas now. Like, you done moved on up.
We go home and visit. You can find a roach.
Oh, you're going to find a few of them. You go in the boroughs, oh my God. It's like, what the hell's going on here? So like for me, if you can't afford to buy in the bar, like the boroughs are crazy right now.
Yeah.
No, you're in the worst block, your crib is $1 million. Like this shit don't make no sense to me. So, and you got to think about it, you're going to need at least 10%, probably 3 to 5 for down payment and another 5 for closing costs, right? So you mind $1 million house, that's $100,000. Most people don't have $100,000. So if you got 50,000, 60,000, yo, go to Connecticut. Even if you don't want to go and live there, rent where you live and then go buy something as an investment. So that way now you can create some sort of cash flow to help you qualify for the New York house. If you want to get that brownstone in Brooklyn, then now you got to invest. So I just try to tell New Yorkers, you got to think outside of the box. You got to think outside. You got to think outside of you got to leave New York.
You saw what it did for his life when he left New York.
Yo, look, leave New York, man. It changed my life when I started traveling and seeing the world. Like, whoa, this exists?
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. Let me get the hell out of here. I don't even want to be home half the time now. But it's the same thing when it comes to buying real estate. If you live in high-cost areas, and that's just not New York, D.C., California.
Right.
Yo, you got to go to the outskirts. You got to go to the surrounding states. If you have 40, 50,000, you're not going to really get much in D.C. You're not going to get much in L.A. But if you're in D.C., you got Virginia right there, you got Maryland right there. You got Philly, Baltimore right up the street. So you have ways where you can make that 40,000, 50,000 work for you, where it won't work for you inside these big metropolitan cities.
Right. Yeah, a lot of us coming from that background. I got a lot of friends right now in New York. They're like, yo, we got to get out the city. We're moving to D.C., we're moving to Baltimore, moving to Maryland. So people are trying to figure out what's next for them. So I want to get into where you are today a little bit, because I know we spoke a lot about your background. You just come off stage. You had 20,000 people at InvestFest, which was absolutely amazing.
That was our first InvestFest.
That was your first InvestFest? All right, so let me ask you the question. Don't mean to cut your wisdom off. This is your first InvestFest.
That was our first InvestFest.
So I need to know, what was your experience like with InvestFest?
Go ahead.
We've thrown events before, but obviously not 20,000 people events.
Nothing
so
close.
we came in with an understanding that there's going to be some challenges.
Right.
So go ahead.
I had no issues or concerns at InvestFest. The only thing that went wrong was that Diddy was late, which was out of control from anybody at InvestFest.
Diddy wasn't late.
Diddy wasn't late.
wasn't
I heard.
late?
No.
Diddy wasn't late.
Well, the time that was on the bill, it got pushed back a little bit.
It got pushed back, but he wasn't late.
Okay, I blamed it on him. I didn't blame it on InvestFest
But see,
regardless.
and I'm glad you brought that up.
But either way, my experience, it was flawless. We had VIP. So
Smart.
Friday, yeah, because when he first brought it up, I'm like, you see them prices?
Smart.
Best decision we
VIP
could've
was
made.
amazing. I'm screaming at Ja Rule in the crowd.
We
I'm
watched
like,
Ja Rule and Jim Jones?
oh,
Yeah.
I'm like, and there's fireworks, there's food, there's drinks, there's vibes. It was great.
Was it
So,
worth the price of admission?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
That Friday alone was worth it.
Of course, because
Friday
I saw
alone
your
was worth it.
pictures.
Friday alone was
I saw your pictures. Y'all had a lot of pictures with a lot of people.
Videos, yeah. So Friday alone was worth it. And yeah, and to network and be in the room. It's just
Exactly.
a bit more, intimate.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what it was.
2,000 of your closest friends.
Well, yeah.
Very intimate.
But it felt intimate. At least it did, because you can
Yeah.
rub shoulders, say hello, versus,
Absolutely.
Saturday and Sunday is way more bigger, way more people.
Mm-hmm.
The speakers were amazing. The seating for VIP was amazing. The food trucks.
It's definitely going to be a clip for you right here on
Oh, no,
the
I'm
page.
fine.
We need all of that.
The food trucks were great.
The food was really good.
The vendor area, that was amazing.
That
So
was
I
fire.
had no complaints, literally no complaints. I was like, Jeezy was at the end. I was like, to keep me here all night on Sunday. But other than that,
You
I
was
had
tired
no
at that
complaints.
point.
I was tired then. But it was a full weekend, and I felt like it's a must event. Like, I can't miss it again.
And I say, you guys pleased my wife, so you pleased me. I was already ready to go.
Happy
She-
wife, happy life, man.
She had no
You're welcome.
complaints.
I was like, what is there to see Jeezy? Like, okay, he's not my favorite artist, but why not? I'm gonna
Why
be here.
not?
That was good.
And it was a whole vibe.
It was good.
It was a vibe.
I heard him speak in a way that I've probably never hear him speak.
Never hear him speak like that.
Exactly, and he performed, and it was lit. Listen, my phone is full of investment pictures and videos.
So look, I think the price of admission, because a lot of people complain about prices, like
for VIP or in general?
just in general, people complain about anything.
Well, yeah,
It
that's-
doesn't-
yeah.
If it's free, they're gonna complain,
Exactly.
right? So with the VIP prices, it's like, yo, look, you're paying to get inside the room. If you're paying $1,500, $2,000, whatever the ticket price costs, then there's other people that's paying the same thing, and those people have money just like you because they can afford it just like you. So those are people you want to be around. And then to be able to walk through the VIP night and see all your favorite people, people that you're following, people that you wanted, like, yo, I follow, yo, I know who that person is. Even for me, it's like, oh shit. Yo, Simba, what's good, my guy? Like, I fuck with you.
Yeah.
And he telling me his mom is like a big fan of mine. Then he grabs his mom like, yo, mom, you should got. Like, I'm like, yo, this is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
Shout out to Simba. Right? That blew my mind. Like, yo, I didn't even know you knew who I was. So like that VIP experience, I think is curated to a certain way where it's just like unmatched because everyone's just walking around. Celebrities are walking around. Everyday business people are walking around. There was billionaires in there. You didn't even know.
No. Right.
Walking around, just chilling. 100 millionaires just walking around, and they're networking. They're not just being to themselves or having security around them. No, they're out there shaking heads and talking to people and having conversations. So, like for me, the price to get in is well worth every penny. It's a tax write-off too.
Yeah, that's what he said. It's a business expense.
It's a business expense. Like, but you know, to the Diddy thing, he wasn't late. See, Diddy was supposed to get on at 12 on Saturday. Diddy was there from 10:30.
Okay.
Diddy was in the back.
So I think what happened was he had posted a video. We was walking behind somebody, and they pulled up the video.
Well,
It looked
I
like he was
think
on.
probably-
He
you know,
probably
people
posted
post
that the
things
day
late.
before
I've
or
been
something.
saying
It looked like he was getting on a jet.
Oh no, that was old.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But people were. I think he just had posted it that day.
Yeah.
So my only assumption, because everything was so flawless, I was like, it had to be Diddy that made us go to lunch before he came on.
New Yorkers,
That was
man.
my
New
assumption.
Yorkers show what
It
they
was
want.
us.
Okay.
We made the
Decision
decision
to push him back.
to push him back till after lunch because we wanted the room to look how the room looked.
Looks.
Yeah.
The room looked the way it was supposed to look, right? So you gotta understand initially, and I'll say this too, because of his schedule, he wanted to be on earlier because of his schedule. When he got there, he was like, "Yo, I'm here all day.
Okay.
I'm not leaving. Whatever y'all want, basically." Don't even talk to my people. Talk to me directly and ask me whatever you want, and I'm gonna make the decision right there.
Okay.
Like he was cool as shit. Like we backstage chilling with him. Like my children got to meet him. My son had a whole 10-minute conversation with this guy. I posted a snippet of it on my IG. He was like, he had a whole conversation with Baby Boss, my 9-year-old. It was her birthday coming up in 2 days. Like they had a whole conversation. Like he was talking to the media people back there. Like he was chilling. Now, when we decided to move him back, he left for like an hour. And then he came back, and then he was like, yo, I want to go to the vendor marketplace. So he went to the vendor marketplace, and he walked through that joint, and he was talking to the business owners. He was playing Miss Business thing with the games and everything. So it's like, I still, like, people was like, oh, he was late. I'm like, nah. Like,
It was the decision y'all made.
it was just, people was still complain. It's like, people are always going to complain.
But that's not a complaint, though.
That's not a
just like
complaint.
that's just a thing.
He's here, and he's walking through the crowd, and
Yeah.
like he's a billionaire
That's
for crying
nothing
out
to
loud.
remove stars from the event or anything like that.
No, not at
nothing
all. Because when he got on stage, he over-delivered.
Definitely.
He gave information. He didn't duck no questions.
Yes.
He really gave the information, and he had some powerful things to say. And if you really was paying attention, it was like, yo, there was a lot of nuggets.
All of the speakers were amazing.
Oh, I mean, the lineup was just phenomenal.
So Steve Harvey and Brosnan,
that was crazy.
They need their own podcast.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
They need
That was
that
good.
That was
relationship.
crazy.
That was good.
That relationship was
That synergy
Yeah.
was just.
You could tell they
like-
were friends off
No, they're
camera.
boys.
Yeah.
Like they're boys. Like that's his man's in them. You know what I'm saying?
I'm talking about
how
my
you break
yacht.
it
You had your own yacht too.
Yeah, that's his man. So it was like the whole Invest Fest to me, just to see where it came from to where it is now. It's like, wow, this is like incredible. In 3 years, 20,000 people.
Before we even get to the full thing of InvestFest, we're going to talk about just shooting up your shot because
Shoot or shoot.
shooting your shot is important for why we have MG here today.
Correct.
One, he put up a post saying, I'm going to be in Dallas. Let's do some podcasts. Boom.
Yep.
And Anthony at first was like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, if you don't send that message, like now we both from New York. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and do it. That's how we got him here. But I know your backstory.
Also, want to shout out Andre Hatcher.
Shout out to Andre.
Andre, yeah.
One of our
Andre
close friends for
suggested
years
as well.
now.
Yep.
So, but I know your background is about shooting your shot when it came
Facts.
to DJ Envy and Rashad.
Oh, you've been doing your research.
Oh, I'm in it.
Okay.
So both of them shooting your shot. So I guess how important is that, and what even gave you the confidence to do that? Is it just a New Yorker thing? But what else gave you the confidence to do that?
New York has a lot to do with it.
Okay.
New York definitely has a lot to do with it, but I would say closed mouth don't get fed. Like period, point blank. Like I'm trying to eat. So, you know, to bring up like Envy, right? So 2018, I saw him. They was doing their seminars and everything like that. So I just commented on his post. It was a real estate post. Like, yo, I love what you're doing with your platform for the community. Yo, Queens get the money. QGTM.
There we go.
Right? He liked it. So I did that. He posted. I did it again. He liked it again. I said, wait a minute, hold on. So I just copy and paste the message, put in his DM, and then he responded. And I said, oh, shit. So at first I thought it was his assistant or something like that.
Yeah.
Then I just said, you know what? Yo, you got any sponsorship opportunities? He said, matter of fact, I do. We got something coming up, and you want to sponsor? It's $3,000. So I'm like, fuck, $3,000? Like, all right, bet, whatever.
Yeah.
That's how that relationship started, and that's how I got on Envy Stage. And around the same time, Rashad, this was before Earn Your Leisure. He had like 9,000 followers at this time. But I kept on seeing, this is when the Explorer page was popping on Instagram. So
Now it's chaotic.
now it's ridiculous now. So now I'm on the Explorer page and I always see someone prominent from the culture, like a knit, for example, God bless the dead, and there'll be like this font, like the headline, and then it'll be a caption, and the caption will be a whole lesson, and then it'll be a watermark at Rashad Bilal. So I'm like, who the fuck is this at Rashad Bilal guy? I keep seeing these videos. Who's at Rashad Bilal? I went to his page. He had 9,000 followers, and then I'm looking through his posts. He would have 4,000 or 5,000 comments with 9,000 followers.
That's nuts.
I say, yo, this dude got the financial literacy shade room. Like, this is incredible. Then I saw that he was a financial advisor based in New York. So I said, wait a minute. This guy's a financial advisor? But I don't see nothing of him selling no product, talking about financial advising or nothing. So I said, nah, bro. I had him in the DM, like, yo, I'm in New York. I'm a loan officer. I got a lot of clients. I love your page. I see you're a financial advisor. We should get on the call. He responded. We got on the call, spoke for like an hour. The synergy was there. I sent them like 10, 12 clients. A lot of them moved over money with his firm. Then one day he called me like a couple weeks later, like, yo, what you want? I'm like, what you talking about? He's like, you've been sending me a lot of business and people been rolling over money with my firm. Like, what do you want? You want a referral fee? Like, what do you want? I said, nah, I want none of that. I want you to teach me how you get 4,000 or 5,000 comments with only 9,000
You
followers.
saw a bigger picture, because most people would take
How you saw the value in that?
Yeah, versus the content.
Because I was trying to figure out social media at this time.
Okay.
Like, so for me, like, I've been doing this for a very long time. I've been through ups and downs in the mortgage business. So so first of all, when the Barclays opened up, like a year after that, me and my former business partner, we wound up getting a suite at the Barclays. And we had a suite for 3 years. And we used to invite realtors, developers, I used to do anything to try to get
Like
networking to get mortgage business. That wasn't really that profitable. It was very expensive. We had a great time, but it wasn't profitable, right? So I was like, all right, what can I do to really stay relevant? I'm getting older. I don't really want to be chasing realtors like I've been chasing them my whole career. And it was like, wait a minute, social media, I discovered Gary Vee. And I just started I think August of 2016 or 17, one of those years, I started binge watching Gary Vee content on YouTube. And I said, man, this dude is onto something. So that year for my birthday, I purchased like tripods for my phone, lenses for my phone. I used to film videos of myself, teaching myself how to edit like Gary Vee. Like, that was really got me the bug of social media. And prior to that, my social media looked like a family photo album. Like, I was telling jokes. I was talking about sports. Like, it wasn't all like nothing.
Jokes.
It was like all types of foolishness. I'm posting memes. Like, it wasn't like business.
Cohesive, yeah.
It was just like a family photo. You know what I'm saying? And that's what really got me into now creating content. And by the time I met Rashad, I already had a videographer. I started putting out a little bit of content, but it wasn't really getting no traction. So I was interested in what he had learned, because I saw like, damn, I keep seeing this guy go viral. I keep seeing him on my Explorer page, and I see the comments, and I'm looking through the comments, and the information in the comments is even better than the caption. It was like, I was like, yo, how is he doing this? And I needed to learn, yo, how are you doing this? Because in my eyes at this time, all I was looking at, yo, I can get a lot of leads if I learn how to do this, and I can make a lot of money.
So you were still thinking to get the leads for the mortgage business?
Oh, I wasn't. Everything I'm doing right now, I had no clue.
Okay.
This wasn't my plan.
Okay.
I borderline hate this shit. Okay. I'm not a public speaker. Queen, let me tell you, I did not come in this saying, I want to be a public speaker. I want to be an influencer. I'm going to sell products and do events and do all this. No. When Envy, I reached out to Envy to be a vendor.
Okay, so I have a table.
That was it.
$3,000, 150 people paying $100. I mean, 1,500 people paying $100. In my eyes, those are leads.
Okay.
I need those people. They're serious. They're paying money. I need to set up a table, and I need to get them to me. He asked me to speak. I told him no 4 or 5 times in the same conversation. Like, nah, chill, bro. I'm good. I don't want to speak. I'm great. I'm not a public speaker. No, thank you. I just want to be in the building. And he was the one who saw something in me. Shout out to Envy for that. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself at that time. And he was like, yo, you from Queens, like you talk the talk. And I had a couple videos out. So he definitely did his research and to see who I was. And I know people who know him too. And I hit them up like, yo, tell your man who I am, because I help these people get loans and shit too. And he was like, yo, you should speak. Like, the people need you. And I was like, by the 5th time, I was like, fuck it. Like, what do I have to lose?
Tell them no.
Man, I'm smoking a blunt. Like, what do I have to lose?
Why not?
Like, no, seriously. Like, I'm telling you the God's honest truth right now. Yo, super transparent. Like, fuck. Why I keep telling DJ every no? Like, what am I doing? I'm like, fuck it. And this was like the first week of January 3rd, 2019. I had 1,700, 1,800 followers at this time. And I said, and the first seminar was January 27th, 2019 in Queens. And I said, wow, okay, what did I get myself into? Okay, I got to practice because I don't public speak.
Right.
And I don't even know what these dudes want me to talk about.
So he didn't tell you what to talk about. You just said you need to talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said, we're going to talk about mortgages.
I mean,
That's all I know. I said, okay, no problem, whatever, right? I didn't know exactly what they wanted me to speak about until the day before of the seminar. So what I did was I said, okay, Matt, you got to get out your head. You got to put out content. I got 1,800 followers. That is the seminar. So I got to start putting out videos. Now, at this time, it would take me 5 hours to make one 60-second video. So I said, I'm going to do something now. I'm going to do 3 takes. And I got to do 3 takes max. And I got to post one of those 3 takes. I don't care if I stutter. I don't care how I look. And every day I sat in front of my phone and I figured out what I wanted to talk about and I would do the video.
But what even made you think like that? Because I think some people would just assume, well, I'm going to just practice this one time for getting on the stage. But you're like, no, I'm going to practice with this audience that I have as they are my audience. A lot of people don't even think about that. They're like, I only have 2,000 followers. And people were like, well, imagine speaking to 2,000 people. Like,
That was it.
What helped? So that was your shit?
Exactly.
Okay.
It was like, well, they saying they're going to have 1,500 people. I got 1,800 people on my page. Okay. That's it right there.
1 + 1 = 2.
And it's funny because
Basically.
even Tabitha, when she was doing the presentation at InvestFest, she had the same things. Like, I was getting on live, trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
In the kitchen.
And that too, right? So I started making the videos and then I discovered Instagram Live by accident.
Oh, you went live. That was different.
By accident, right? And it wasn't even because of me. It was one of my boys. Shout out to Tone. We worked in the same building. He had an office downstairs. And one day I was about to leave, and he was coming in. It was like 7, 8 o'clock at night. So I ain't seen him in a while. So he had a bottle of some Japanese whiskey or something like that. He's like, yo, come to the office. Let's break bread. Let's have a cup. So he had the red
strong,
cups.
too.
It's super strong. So we in the office, got the red cups, we drinking. He's like, yo, and he goes live. He's like, yo, he just goes live and he just starts talking. I'm drinking, I'm not thinking nothing of it. Yeah. Then he just puts the camera on me, like, yo, I got Matt with me, da-da-da-da-da. He's like, then people started asking questions and I'm just answering questions and they just keep going and going. I'm like, oh, snap. Like,
What you discovered here?
I'm like, what's this? And that's how I discovered Instagram Live. Shout out to Tone. And I'm like, yo, that's dope. So then I started going on live myself. And then I just started going on live and I used that as practice. And this is when engagement on Instagram was great.
Yeah.
So even with 1,800 followers, I might have 300 people on my live. Wow. So now I would just sit there and just have a topic and I would just talk about it, answer questions, and I would just get comfortable with public speaking. And so I used Instagram as my practice. And then I had a lunch and learn for realtors like a week before the seminar. So I used that as more practice to be in front of people to kind of practice live. And the rest is history. I just kept
So you went on stage and killed it?
Destroyed it.
And you saying that?
You still got that video to this day?
It's on my YouTube. To this day.
To this day.
And I freestyled it. Fun fact, I threw up before
What?
I went on stage.
Okay. You can't be saying you... It doesn't match the confidence that we were talking about.
But I also threw up.
I was nervous as hell. I'm not a public speaker.
Well, you did say that.
I'm not a public speaker. So when you see 1,500 people, you got to remember that's 3,000 eyeballs.
That's a lot.
That's 3,000 eyeballs.
Never thought about it that way.
I'm trying to tell you, it looks different.
It's different.
It's not. This ain't Instagram. I see numbers like followers.
It's
like
just you in the house.
I'm like, okay, all these people are here for the seminar.
Okay.
Whoa, what's happening here?
So you threw up.
My anxiety was crazy.
Okay.
Crazy. Had to throw up.
Do you still get that type of
Yeah,
anxiety?
you
now?
just spoke in front of 20,000 people.
To this day? you
Multiple
still get
times.
that?
I'm nervous right now.
Oh, okay. You don't show it though, but that's great.
No, I'm
Maybe
nervous
you've
right
learned
now.
over the years.
I just lights,
You
camera,
gotta turn it
action.
on.
You gotta
Lights,
turn it
camera,
on.
action.
That's a New York thing too. Like sometimes you gotta just be out.
Cardi B was talking about that last night.
Oh, she was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
She was saying like she's shy, and I was like, huh?
She's like, the camera's on. We gotta work.
Yeah, I get nervous. Every time I do something, it's like, oh my God, what did I sign myself up for? Like,
What
about doing this podcast?
why didn't I just stay in the bed until Trap's event? Like, I could have just went to Trap's event today, just chilled in my bed, went to the spa or something, and chilled. But now I want to go do podcasts. So what am I thinking? But nah, I threw up. And I went on stage. I had no clue. It was another mortgage girl there. The only thing I said, yo, let her speak first. So, and I'll go after her. So that way I can kind of piggyback off of what she was saying. And that was the best thing I ever did because I kind of piggybacked off of her. Then I transitioned into like generational wealth. I started talking about life insurance, trust, estate planning. And so now people in the
more than
audience.
just mortgage.
Oh, it's deeper than that because it is. These are conversations I have with my clients. So I just brought the conversation to my clients, and these are the type of conversations I started having on my Instagram page over the first month of January of generational wealth and not just thinking about buying a house, how you protect the assets, how you maintain it. So I kind of encompassed all of that into my 15, 20 minutes. And I just freestyled it. And I thought I bombed. I stayed on stage because it was in a nightclub, Club Amazon in Queens.
Oh yeah, everybody know that.
Yeah, so it's at Amazon, right? So it's a big stage. And like, so I was like in the back of the stage when I finished, and I stood on that stage like for like 45 minutes, and my team is just calling me like, "Yo, pick up your phone." I'm like, I didn't want. I thought I failed.
You were so nervous. Okay.
I was scared, and they said, "Yo, fool, what are you?" My videographer, shout out to Tooks, he came. He said, "Yo, bro, you gotta get off the stage. You gotta come down to the table." I said, "Why?" He said, "Yo, bro, it's a line waiting for you." I said, "What?" So I kind of looked over at the booth from the stage. I said, "What the hell's that?" He said, "That's for you, bro. The seminar's still going on, and people are lined up to get to my table." I said, "Oh,
Okay.
let me get off the stage then."
Confidence back.
So I go off the stage, and now I'm walking.
my swagger
I'm walking
back.
through the side of the joint, and people getting out of their seats to give me a pound. Like, "Yo, you killed it, bro. Thank you." And I'm like, now this is the first time I've ever experienced somebody telling me thank you for talking about loans and mortgages and generational wealth.
Usually they're like, just let me know what it is.
It's very transactional. It's very transactional. I'm tripping. Like, wait a minute, what the hell's happening? Like, I've been to seminars before. I've never got this type of reaction before, and that just blew my mind. But that also showed me, like, wait a minute, people are hungry.
There's something here.
It's something here.
So would you define January 27, 2019, the change of your life?
Because I was going to ask you,
Good
how
question.
do you make this stuff cool?
Do I define that as the change of my life? No. The change of my life happened when I slid in those DMs.
For envy?
It was before
Before
that with Envy and Rashad.
Both of them.
Or both of them. I didn't have an ego. I wasn't afraid to close mouth, don't get fed. I wasn't afraid to shoot my shot, so to speak. I wasn't afraid to speak up for me, even though I didn't know what I was really speaking up for at the time. I just knew that I liked what these two gentlemen were doing with their platforms, and I knew I could benefit and also add value to it too. I didn't know how, but that would change because, we all be on the internet scrolling for years, and you never reach out to people. Especially us New Yorkers, we haven't reached out to no nigga. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? We good. Like, we good.
We got each other. I'm like,
we good. Like, you know the vibe. Like, yeah, we good. But I wasn't afraid. So that is, I would probably say, was the defining moment of where I'm at today, is because I wasn't afraid to speak my piece. And normally I would just hold whatever I'm thinking and keep it to my own personal inner circle. And yeah, that changed the trajectory of Matthew Garland. It changed me into MG the mortgage guy, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me. So I always will give Envy his props. I always will give Rashad his props, because both of them gentlemen have helped me in a way that I never thought I needed the help with. So it's dope. It's a dope little story, and it's a lot that goes on to it too. So it was a vibe.
I want to touch on, like you just mentioned, power shooting your shot, but then also providing value, not just getting value. And I think you guys have done a great job providing value to the community. So I want to ask you, how have you guys done that where it doesn't seem like there's any egos involved, right? It's for you guys. You guys are in New York. You guys are from New York. We get over this persona where we're the center of everything. When it comes to this platform, where it comes to earn your leisure, I don't get that from Matt MG, the mortgage guy. It seems like I'm just here. I'm gonna pass the ball. I'm gonna shoot it when you guys need me to. So where does that come from, and how do you guys keep those things in check internally, I guess?
Everybody doesn't have to be the star. I think in this day and age, everybody wants to be Michael Jordan. But it's okay to be Dennis Rodman. Robert Horry got 7 rings.
Right.
Jordan only got 6. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just saying, he's one of the only people that can say, yo, Mike, I got more rings than you. Shut up. Like, now, he wasn't a superstar like Mike. Mike transcended the whole game, but you have generational type talent out there. You know, the LeBrons of the world, the Michael Jordans, the Steph Currys. And I really feel like Rashad, Troy, Earn Leisure, that's generational type talent. What they're doing is they transform a whole sector of business, right? No one was really speaking financial literacy, at least for me, for what I saw, until I started seeing those posts from Rashad go viral. And that transformed the way people started even looking at our celebrities and our athletes, because now you start to see them talk business when you only saw either when they got in trouble or they were in their job and their profession, right? But just hear them talk business, it was different. So when it comes to me, and I was just having this conversation with Wall Street Trapper yesterday, I've pushed everybody before me, right? Because I feel as if I can do anything to add value to you and push you, then you're going to bring me with you, so to speak, right? It's like you have like people like...
It's an exchange.
It's an exchange, right? It's a value add. So if I can be there if I got to go grab rebounds today, then you know what? That's my job. I'm going to go grab rebounds, because then I'm going to pass it out to you because you're on fire right now. Go shoot that shit. You know what I'm saying? Go shoot. But now if you need me to go around, I need to go drop 30. I have that capacity to go out here and drop 32 and get 10 boards and 5 assists too. So I don't need to be the star of anything. Like I said earlier, I never wanted to do this.
Right.
Like I never, I never wanted to do everything I'm doing right now. I didn't want to do it. Right. So I'm okay with being in the background. I'm okay with if Rashad and them the star, they're the faces of everything. Great, go ahead, do you get in those rooms, bro? Because if they're in those rooms, I'm in those rooms, right? Because they're bringing the information back to me and Mike and App. Those rooms that they're in big rooms right now. Right. That's only opening up the doors for every one of us, right? Look at InvestFest as a prime example. Most people, and if you look at the internet, and it's a lot of trolls out there, they're like, oh, pay this, and this is all paid. You gotta understand, 95% of these people didn't get paid. So relationships. And that's what people don't really understand. A lot of people are not getting paid to be on these stages. It's not a pay for play. Like, there was no upsells. No. We could have made millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. There was no upsells. There's a reason for that, right? This is all intentional and strategic. So I don't need to have an ego if I'm on a winning team. Yeah, I'm winning chips.
You're on the Bulls. Yeah,
you're
part of the Bulls regardless.
I'm part of the fucking 96 Bulls. Like,
no matter. What I'm doing here.
What want me to be? Ron Harper today? Oh, you need me to be Steve Kerr? Cool. Yeah. What do you need me to do? And how can I do it at the highest level possible?
And so are you involved with everything with UIL?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
That's another thing. People don't even know I'm a co-founder of InvestFest. I don't speak about it.
Well, I know because I looked at the wall.
Of course. Now people know.
And I see Steve Harvey up there too.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, is he part of it now? I guess so.
People don't understand the moves that we make.
Right. Like, so you're part of InvestFest.
Correct. I'm a co-founder of InvestFest. Steve Harvey came in later as a, after that episode.
Which was amazing. That episode was real good.
That went crazy. Yeah. And, in the episode, he said he wanted to do business. We got something for you, Steve.
Say less.
Say less. Right? And that's helped us greatly, right? Strategic partnerships. But no, I'm not involved. Like, I don't own Earn Your Leisure podcast. I'm not an owner in EYL Network. I'm not an owner in the merged assets over liabilities. I'm a co-founder of InvestFest. I'm a co-founder of EYL University, and we own a couple properties together, shit like that. But
you don't need to be in everything. You're saying.
No.
How do you manage that too? Because you still have MG the mortgage guy. You're your own personality outside of
that's
so
building
EYL
good question
and building your brand. Yeah.
Well, I would say Troy and Rashawn and Mike, they've done an amazing job at building Earn Your Leisure. You know, for me, I've been kind of on both sides of the fence of being a business partner with them and also being a fan and being behind the scenes and seeing the trials and tribulations that they've had to go through since 2019. You know, I've been there pretty much every step of the way. So it's been a challenge. Like, it's a challenge, and I'll be completely transparent with y'all. When you are now the Dennis Rodman and you are the Ron Harpers, but you know you're also a star, it does become challenging because, especially in this space, you have your own personal brand. You have your own things that you're trying to do too. So sometimes, like, even for me, I should say, it's like, all right, what am I promoting today? Am I promoting the co-brands or am I promoting my own brand? So you got to kind of find that balance between everything. And sometimes that's been a struggle for me. I'm not even gonna hold y'all up. It's not easy sometimes. I'm trying to promote so many different things because now the audience is like, you get kind of confused a little bit. Mm-hmm. But what I would say is that I understand what's important first. And to me, InvestFest is extremely important. It's a cultural icon right now. So that's like priority. Like when it's InvestFest heavy promo time, I got to be 100% locked in on the promo of that, selling tickets, doing my job, doing everything I got to do for that. But it's a balance, man. I just learned how to balance it and still on the background just be as consistent as I can be for myself. Like, I'm on my YouTube. I got my podcast, Rants and Gems. You know, I'm still originating loans and we're still helping a lot of people buy homes and buy real estate. So just being consistent.
And you got a family.
And I got a family, you know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to my kids. And, you know, just taking care and maintaining all of that. It's just, you got to prioritize what's important. And that's been the hardest thing. And I'll tell all of y'all this too. As you grow in social media, you have to, anything in business, you have to sacrifice. Some things are going to be sacrificed. Sometimes it might be your family that gets sacrificed. Sometimes it might be time with your kids that's going to get sacrificed. Sometimes it's going to be one business that will get neglected over another business, right? I've been through all these cycles in this. And no one teaches you how to deal with this. There's like no manuscript to learn how to deal with success, making money, popularity, traveling like crazy. Like, so I've had to go through
building $1 billion brand.
Building $1 billion brand, couple of them, right? Like, it's not easy, yo. Like, it's fucking hard. Mm-hmm. And some days I'd be like, what the hell am I doing? Like, but you got to just kind of get grounded with God, number one. You got to pray a lot. And you got to kind of like figure out, like, all right, I got to do this because this is what I prayed for at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So I can't complain. I got to do it, like, by any means necessary, and really time manage your day out. So that's just something that I had to sharpen my skill set on, is really like just honing down on my time management, prioritizing what's important, what's not important, delegating a lot of the busy work. Like, the busy work I can't do. I got to give that to somebody else. I got to stay locked in and be productive every single day, because then now that opens me up and to be free to be able to move and shake the way I need to move and shake. So it hasn't been easy, y'all. I'll tell you the honest truth. This, for me, it's been a challenge, you know, and I'm navigating through those challenges the best way that I can. And when I make a mistake, I just learn from it and I just keep pushing forward. Yeah, you got to keep pushing forward. Like, I'm not going to sit here and dwell on it. Like, all right, I made this mistake. My bad. Let me fix this. Yeah. What can I do differently? And I just, hopefully I don't repeat it, right? But it's great though. I love it. Like, I wouldn't change anything. Like, and it's been a lot of good and bad and ugly, but I wouldn't change anything because, again, it's making me the man that I am today.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny that you mentioned the university, because we looked back and 2 years ago.
2 years ago this month.
Like this month, someone from you guys team
we was on a thread together.
Had reached out to have us teach in the university.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
We didn't get to do it because we were traveling, because we traveled a lot, and so we never got to connect and do it. By the time we got back to them, it was too late.
Full circle moment.
Yeah.
Shout out to Andre Hatchett again.
Yeah,
shout out to Andre.
He plugged that too. So to have you here just 2 years later after, is like, oh, okay, God, I see you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, God is good, man. Shout out to Andre Hatchett. Andre Hatchett was the first teacher we had at EYL University.
Right.
The very first teacher, man. So Andre Hatchett's been around for a very long time with us. He's always been a solid dude. And when he reached out, and before he put us on group text, I was like, yo, I think they just reposted me in their stories and stuff. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, I see they had the Invest Fest tee. I said, oh, they was VIP. That tee,
Oh, you can realize? Okay, that makes sense. I didn't even think about that.
Because that tee was only for VIP people.
That's true.
And I said, oh.
You see, VIP can get you in different doors that you don't think about.
And I'm going to tell you, the only reason I did your podcast is because you did VIP.
That's hilarious.
There you go.
Facts. The only reason.
Luckily, so we had flew. Let me tell you the story because my family's from Panama. So we flew to Panama right after Invest Fest that Monday. And so we're like, we got to record this podcast about how Invest Fest, we just have to do it. I'm like, just do it when we get home. He's like, no, we need to do it now. So we're at a hotel. He's like, we got to do it now. I'm like, I don't got no shirt. He's like, there was shirt in the bag. I'm like, fine, I'll put it on.
That was it.
And that's kind of how it went. That's literally how it went. Because generally, I wouldn't be just wearing the shirt on the podcast.
In the house washing the dishes or
going
to the gym.
It worked out. But no, that's just a show.
That was a smart move because
that's funny.
When I put that post up, my DM's on fire. Next.
I'm sure.
So I saw y'all tagged me. I'm like, oh, they talking about Invest Fest. Let me go over here. Then I'm like, oh, she was VIP.
I thought that was the admin or something.
Nah, that was me.
Okay.
And then I said, shoot or shoot.
Yeah.
I said, shoot or shoot.
Yeah.
And then
you just never know.
Then Andre Hatchett, probably like 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, hit me on text about y'all. And I'm like, oh, I was like, yeah, they was VIP. I said, no, put me in a group text. They was VIP. So for me, it was like, all right, if they supported the brand at that level, yo, it's only right that I come and do your pod. Plus, then I started listening to some of the things y'all was talking about. I was like, all right, I like what y'all talking about. So like, fuck it, why not? Why not?
Appreciate that.
I'm here in Dallas. So why not come? And you're VIP. Like, why not? So look, VIP
get you in different doors, not just there.
No, because look, it again, just for you, and this is just God's honest truth. I saw the T-shirt. Once I saw the T-shirt, I knew you were VIP. Because
that didn't even cross my mind. But it's funny that you're saying that.
Because I know what was in the swag bag. So I'm like, oh, okay. There was two of them there. Oh, they spent some money with us. Okay. Let me hear them out. Let me really see. Let me look through the page. Bet. I like what they're talking about. You got to refer. Relationships are greater than money. Someone that I already rock with hits me up about you guys. Oh, coincidence. It's 2 stars for you now. It's like, all right, boom. Now I come here. Now I'm saying, yo, come to the trap joint tonight because a couple of my people going to be there. Now it's going to be an introduction. Now it's like a circle, you know what I'm saying? So get inside the room is very important. You can't think about the money you're going to spend right now. Like people are worried about, people know the price of everything, but the value of nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like you guys understood the value of being VIP and now it's just going to pay off for you.
I appreciate that. But I think you have something?
I'm good.
Keep going.
I have one last thing.
I have no time.
That is important that I think that you've done is this, you collaborate a lot. It appears with a lot of people. And that's honestly something that we struggle with because I think we lean on each other. We're like, well, it's 2 of us. We have each other. We do obviously speak to other people and socialize, but how important is collaboration for you? And I mean, the doors that it's opened is tremendous.
It's been everything for me. It's been, collaboration is greater than competition. It's been my calling card since I really got popular online. I mean, my first 2 collaborations was with Rashad and Envy, right? And this was before Rashad was Rashad Bilal. This was before Earn Your Leisure. And you never know what someone can do for you and what you can do for them and how it can grow in the future. Like when I reached out to Shadi, I didn't know nothing. He was thinking about doing a podcast called Earn Your Leisure. You know how I found out about Earn Your Leisure?
When you was on it?
No. He started hashtagging Earn Your Leisure, Earn Your Leisure. And I'm like, yo, dog, what is this Earn Your Leisure you keep tagging? What the hell does that mean? He said, yo, you're paying attention. I'm like, yeah, what is that, bro?
Yeah.
Tell me, yo, me and my best friend, we coming out of a podcast. So at first I'm like, oh, another nigga with a podcast. Like, that was my first thought.
Everybody say that.
Everybody got a fucking podcast, right? So, but when I saw it, I said, wait a minute. These dudes are dynamic together. They're breaking things down. Like their first 8 or 9 episodes was just Troy and Rashad. Those are some of my favorite episodes
those are my favorite
to this day. And I say, yo, these guys are onto something. They was like, yo, we gotta get you on, this, that, and third, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna come on. This is when we started the tour with Envy. And if you look at even their first line of guests, like, so after Envy's seminar, I wound up doing my own seminar, and I just kind of changed it up a little bit, and that was my first paid seminar, and I wound up making like 30 bands off of that.
Oh, wow.
After all my expenses.
First seminar, that's amazing.
I had 3,000 followers at this time too, and I did it 6 weeks after his. So
That's the message within itself, because everybody think they need.
nah, that's what I'm telling you. It's a lot that we can discuss here, because after that, me throwing up and me being nervous and standing on
was worth
stage
it.
and
I'm doing this
hiding,
again. It was worth it.
I got the videotape from the video of me on stage. I watched that joint the next day. I say, yo, damn, this was me. I say, nah, I was pretty good. I say, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have my own seminar.
Right after that.
No, seriously, that's exactly what I
6 weeks
said.
later, that's crazy.
March 2nd, 2019. Theirs was January 27th. So I say, yo, I'm gonna do this. And I told Shadi, I said, yo, I'm gonna do my own seminar. He's like, word? He's like, you know, people online got 1 million followers, they can't sell t-shirts.
Right.
And you're trying to do a paid seminar. I said, yeah, fuck it. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Because I see they were only teaching how they invest and everything like that. So I said, you know what? People really like this generational wealth conversation I was having. So I was like, yo, Shadi, why don't you be a speaker? You could talk financial planning. I had Miss Business come there. She was talking taxes. I had Sabine, the purpose lawyer. She was talking estate planning. I had Lindsay Smith. She was talking about life insurance.
So everybody that was pretty much there at that
Some of these
event
people
was
that's
back
on-
then in 2018, 19.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They put them on. So if you speak to anybody that's in the space, they know, like, nah, Matt is the plug. Because all I've been doing is collaborating and connecting the dots. And even if you look at Earn Your Leisure's first couple episodes when they started having guests, most of those guests, Rashad met them for the first time at my first seminar. So
it's an exchange. It's not literally, yes.
So to answer the question, collaboration, like, I live and breathe and I eat and I sleep and shit this. You know, it's all about collaboration. It's all about pushing people to the next level, because if I push you to the next level, then you're going to have no choice but to say, yo, Matt, I got an opportunity for you too. So now what do you think happens to me almost daily right now? And this is years and years and years of me putting people into positions, even to this day. Like, you got to think about people on these stages now, all relationships, and a lot of them come from things that I've done 4 years ago. And now all these people like that I just mentioned, they're all killing it. They're all killing it. And I promise you, all of them will tell you, nah, MG. He's like, I was the unofficial booking agent for Earn Your Leisure the first year. Like, seriously, that was like our running joke.
You have the connects. They were just starting, and then you had the connects.
It wasn't that I had the connects. It was that I was on a bigger platform with Envy.
True.
So now people start seeing me. You gotta understand, in 2019, I think we hit up like 20 cities with Envy. I'm all over the country, speaking 1,000 to 2,000 people every show. So now, and then I got on the Breakfast Club, and like, I started growing at a crazy pace because of Envy. And now people are now coming to me too. So now when people come to me, if I thought they was good for EYL, yo, let me introduce you, and just adding value. So I literally was like the unofficial booking agent. And I just always want to put people on. And I just started putting people on these stages. And even though they were small stages, it didn't matter. It was just like, yo, come speak, come do this, come do that. You'll get some business out of it, blah, 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 blah. And whether we was doing, then when we started EYL University, it was like, yo, we growing this platform. Yo, come on, like Andre Hatchett, met him. Like, yo, you talking about mobile notary. Like, because I'm in a mortgage business, so I understand the power of being a notary. Them people make $350, $400 a closing for fucking 20 minutes.
20 minutes coming to the house.
So I understood the value of what he was talking about. So I was like, yo, you need to teach people this. Let me put you in a university. He was one of the first teachers. He's taught probably every year since then at EYL University and other things that we've done too. But again, the power of relationships. He knowing how I plug him in, Now he sees an opportunity. He know I'm coming here. He plugs me in with you guys. Like, so that collaboration is golden. Relationships are worth so much more than money to me. And if you have that relationship currency, there's nothing that you can't achieve. Like, there's no one I can't call right now and say, yo, I need a favor. They're not going to tell me no. Like, because I've added so much value directly or indirectly to what they're doing. How can you tell me no? And if you tell me no, there's something wrong with you.
What's wrong with you?
Like, well, you're bugging me. Like,
Are you dumb?
are you dumb? Like, why are you telling me no? Out of all people, like me? But I don't get at them like that. but that's just in my mind. It's just like, yo, how many more people can I impact? How many more people can I help? How many more people can I help them achieve their goals? Because if I help them achieve their goals, I know I'm going to achieve my goals. And it might not come when I want it.
Yeah.
Like some shit come to me like 6-8 months later, but I'll be like, yo, that's God, man. He's giving it to me on his time, not my time. So I just know I gotta keep just doing what I'm doing because it's working. So I ain't gonna stop.
And this could be, I guess, inside with collaboration, but do you involve your kids in any way? Because we have an 18-month-old and we kind of talk about that. You know how to be like, your kids don't want your business, but do you involve your kids
They don't
in
want your
anything?
business. They don't want your business.
Do you involve them in any aspect?
So I have an 18-year-old, shout out to Brooke, first year in college.
Wait, her dad is a part of EYL, so how does that impact her?
She doesn't care.
She don't.
Yeah.
She don't care.
So my kids, so I got Brooke, Chris, and Sydney, right? So Chris, he'll be 16 in December. Baby boss, she just turned 9. And they really, like, it's weird to them sometimes. So we be out, people run up on me. Right. So it's like, we could be in the weirdest places, Walmart, Target, people running up, want to take pictures, ask questions. We at dinner, and people running up on me. Like, so now it's kind of like, it was weird at first. Now they're kind of used to that aspect of it. But I think now, as the 2 oldest ones are getting older, and like Baby Boss was at Invest Fest this year. This is the first time she's seen me on a stage like this. So I made everybody say happy birthday to her. Yeah, so she's like, yeah.
Happy belated to you too.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And she was so excited about that. That was like the best thing ever. That was like so dope to her. So now as she's seen that, she's like, wait a minute, so you going to Dallas to teach? Because now I'm always like, yo, I got to go teach. I got a class. I got a this. And now she's like, oh, okay, have fun, whatever. Now she's like, oh, it's going to be that many people? Because she can now see what she means because now she's seen me and see all these people. But the 2 oldest, like my son, when I came on stage, he was the one behind me with I made him come do the reels. He had the braids in his hair. So I made him come do the reels because now I'm trying to get him more exposed. And he's more into fashion, but for him, he loved, this year was his best. This is his 2nd year at Invest Fest. This year he was networking. So again, he networked with Diddy. He wants to model. So he networked with Diddy. They was having a whole conversation about Sean John and him modeling. So Diddy said he was going to put him.
He's bringing that back.
He's going to hook him up with some Sean John and get him in some ads, right? Milan, shout out to Milan, with Milan D. Rouge. They had a whole conversation. He actually went to Milan's studio that Monday and did a whole photo shoot in her drip, right? So he got to network, and I was able to plug him in with people who are in the fashion world, so then they could see him in the physical, like, oh, yo, he does have a look. So now he's more tapped in because now he understands the power of networking and being collaboration. In the room. So that was very important. But overall, what my kids understand, especially the 2 oldest, they understand about credit. They understand real estate to a certain extent. Are they into it? No. They're into their own thing in their life. But I think in the future, they will gravitate to come on my side of the world and do what they have to do. Especially my oldest one. I think she wants to be a lawyer. So, and we knew she was going to be a lawyer for her whole life, like, because she likes to argue. me and her born on the same birthday. So me and her, we go back and forth, right? Shout out to Brooke. But she's going to be a lawyer. So I think at some point she will come into the real estate side of things and do some attorney work for me. But who knows? Main thing is I just want my kids to be happy and to do whatever makes them happy. And whatever makes them happy, I want to be in position to support it. That's the main thing. You can't force your kids into what you like. Like even I'm a sports fanatic. Like I never forced my son to play sports. Although I wanted to so many different times, but he's just not athletic. Yeah. So it's like, what am I beating him? And I had to learn this because I used to be mad some days. Like, fuck, man, why you ain't go play some ball, man? What we doing, bro? But I had to realize I can't live my life through him. Yeah. I can't. My hoop dreams are not his. He's an intellectual. We all got hoop dreams. I'm like Al Bundy right now. I scored 4 touchdowns in the game. I want you to go score 6, right? But I can't do that to him. I gotta let him be the creative and the intellectual that he is, and that goes for all my kids. So what I'll tell any parent is, find out what your kid loves and support whatever they want to do, because that's going to make them happy. Your dreams are not going to make them happy. People be putting their kids in all this different sports and this and that and third. They spending all these hours and they hate it. And they hate it. So I don't try to force me and my world on them. I want to gradually bring them in. Obviously, I want them to be financial literate and understand credit and everything, which they do. But other than that, yo, do you. My job is to make sure, like, one of my goals in life is to make sure my kids have no college debt, period. And right now,
the tennis player that just won.
Exactly.
She's like, I don't got no debt.
That's what I'm saying. Like, my daughter right now, her tuition's paid for her first year.
Dope.
Like, I don't have to. She's like, and I tell
have
you,
to worry about that.
she's on a scholarship of daddy. Like, you fuck up, I can revoke it. Your ass would get student loans. You know what I'm saying? You would go in debt.
Yeah.
So you need to do what you got to do, because you're not gonna waste my money, right? But that right there was probably one of the best feelings I've had all year, was to be able to pay that tuition. Like damn, okay, I made it a little bit. And God willing, I'll continue to keep thriving and striving, so that way this can go to Chris when he goes to college, and then baby boss when she goes to college, right? Like, that to me, that's a flex to me. Like, that, damn, my kid's going to go to school with no debt.
Absolutely is.
Shit.
That's a flex.
I wish.
I love that. Like, you know, when people got student loan debt, I see it every day, and I don't want my kids to start off life in the hole. No, I'm not going to get involved or get them involved or force them to be involved. I want them to do whatever the hell is that they want to do. Just be productive citizens. Don't be out here scamming and robbing and doing no foolishness. Just go out here and do what you need to do, and just live a great, happy, healthy life. And just remember, karma has no expiration date. And live your life.
No, that's it, man. MG, I truly.
Yeah, sure?
I still have something though.
Go ahead.
It's gonna wrap it though.
I want to be respectful of the man's
Yeah, no,
time.
I'm gonna wrap it right now. I'm gonna wrap it right now.
I got time. Go ahead.
It simply is just is there anything that we can expect from you by the end of this year? I don't want to say the next 5 years, because I feel like when people
5
ask me
years
that,
too
I'm like, I
long.
have no idea.
I tell
what's
people,
happening.
when people ask me 5 years, I'm like, I just want to be alive, man.
Right. So I'm gonna say by the end of this year, by December, anything that we can expect from you.
That you're working on. Or,
Yeah.
I have so much things going on right now. I'm about to go on my own tour.
Okay.
I started doing these 2-day master classes like earlier this year, and I kept them small and intimate.
So you a public speaker now?
Yes.
Okay.
Me get in front of 20,000 people.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
I am a public speaker now. I am, you know what? One of my goals in life is to be the #1 source of real estate education and the #1 source of funding for real estate deals for our community. I feel as if growing up, no one taught us how to buy a house. No one taught us how to buy investment properties. Hell, our parents didn't even know how to do this stuff for the most part, right? So that education is like the foundation of everything. And with real estate, the wealth gap is so wide that we need something for us that we can go to learn. And I want to be that person, or create that platform. So when I started doing these master classes, 2-day classes, very affordable. I keep them under like $200. I don't try to bang nobody out. And I keep them small. I kept them small, I should say, because now I'm not. I had like 40, 50 people, because I just wanted to kind of test it. Now I'm like, you know what? And that's why I came out here. And I'm going to be real with you. I came out here to learn the production of how Trap is doing his thing, right? Because he's on tour. He's like real tapped in on his production, his experiences, and everything like that. And that's why I came out here, to learn that part. And as even having conversations with him, my trip is already well worth it. Like, even before I met y'all, like, my trip is already, like, whatever I spent to get here, I already made it back last night. Just spending 2 hours with Trap, because it's like, all right, I got a lot of information. So now I'm going to take all this information, I'm going to execute it on my own tour. And I might keep it like 100 to 200 people, because I still want to have a little bit of an intimate feel, because I want it table and chairs. I want it classroom style. I don't want it like theater style, because I want people to come in there. You come in here, it's a school. Like, this is no theatrics. This ain't Invest Fest. We ain't going to have smoke and fire. And fire. You're coming here to learn, and you're going to take some information. I'm going to give you workbooks. Like, you're going to be able to leave here knowing a lot more than you knew. And you're going to be able to either now go out here and buy your first house or buy an investment property, get pre-approved with my team. And so that's something that I'm probably going to hit like 15 cities over the next 6 to 8 months. First stop on this revamped version of this is going to be New York in October. I'm working on Jacksonville. Hell, I'm coming to Dallas. I think I have a website for this too, like a waiting list. I think we have this. Hold on, mgmasterclasses.com, I think that is. Let me see if this thing is still active. The Wi-Fi is kind of shaky, but I think it's mgmasterclass.com. If you go to mgmasterclass.com, you can join the wait list. Yep, That's what it is. MGmasterclass.com. You can go to that, join a wait list, and we're going to start rolling out some dates probably in October. Besides that, obviously, if anybody wants to get approved, for finance and refinance and buying investment properties, they can go to applywithmg.com and get approved for financing. We're licensed in 21 states, Texas definitely being one of them. We do a lot of business out here. Rants and Gems, my podcast. You can download that on all audio. It's a top 50 investing podcast on Apple.
Congrats on that.
Thank you, which I'm very proud of that. And honestly, I haven't even been consistent because of InvestFest and everything. I kind of took some time off. So now I'm getting back in the swing of that. The YouTube channel, Rants and Gems, also is growing. So that's, from that perspective, that's kind of like my main focus right now, is really growing my personal brand. And you asked me that earlier. It's like, how do you manage and how you do this? It's like, you just got to be consistent with it. So now it's like, all right, now that InvestFest is over, so I got another year to InvestFest. What am I going to do with this next 12 months for
yourself?
For MG, the mortgage guy, for Rants and Gems, to grow the mortgage company, to really scale and level up my own personal businesses, because these are things that are for my children. So I can't lose sight of that too. Over the past couple of years, I've pushed everything else. Now it's like, all right, you got to make sure that you take care of home, because these are the businesses, like my books and everything that I have out, mgbookstore.com if you want to get a book. This is my legacy. So I have to really hone in on that legacy play for myself, while still pushing the co-branded businesses at the same time. So that's just a little bit of what I got going on, what I'm focused on, and just to provide a lot of education, man. Like, I just don't want to give no fluff. Like, I hate people when I see on the internet, it's like a bunch of BS, and it's like a lot of luxury marketing and lifestyle marketing, which I don't knock nobody's hustle. But yo, this is real estate. This shit is hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy, man.
Oh, we learned.
You need money. You need money. You need education. You need mentorship. You need it all. And I just want to be able to provide that and bring people on my platform, in my space, that are credible, that are not out here doing nothing crazy, and go to that next level and help our community close the wealth gap.
Thank you.
Can't close it no better than that.
Yes, thank you so much. Go ahead.
MG, man, again, we appreciate you being here, man.
Thank y'all for having me.
Super busy,
Studio's fly, man.
Yo, shooting your shot, people. He mentioned multiple ways to shoot your shot. We shot our shot. We got MG here, and again, shout outs to Andre, but Matt, appreciate you being here. Thank you guys checking out another episode of the More Than a Side Hustle podcast. We will drop everything that Matt said. We'll make sure we got the book, we got the tour coming up. Yes. We got his legacy. He's focused on himself right now, so we're going to make sure we allow him to focus on himself over these next couple of months. So, Matt, appreciate you.
Thank you guys for having me. InvestFest 2024. Yo, get your VIP tickets now. Get your VIP tickets now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you.
Being VIP. That's the episode title right there.
The power of being VIP. I ain't going to hold y'all up. I wouldn't be here if they wasn't VIP. And the power of relationships too. Shout out to Andre Hatcher, man. You guys are good people. So y'all hanging out with me tonight? We going to a trap event? Y'all got a babysitter?
I'm gonna do all the
We're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work.
Look, one thing about us, we like to be outside when we outside.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yup. Andre was like, we going to the club. I'm like, I don't have a baby. We gotta go back home right now.
Nah, we outside, bro. We outside. It's Tuesday in Dallas.
Whatever that look like, I don't even know.
Well, you gonna find out. We're gonna find out today because we outside today.
All right, guys, we outside and we out of here. Peace.
Peace.